Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space, so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co. And be sure to tell them the Bro Country Podcast sent you in the How Did You Hear About Podgo section of the application. Welcome to the Bro Country Podcast. My name is Joey, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host.
It's Chris here. How's it going, Joey?
Hey, man, it's going good over here. How about yourself?
Oh, pretty good. I'm just excited to jump into this. We've been looking forward to this one.
Yes, sir, we sure have. And tonight, guys, we are joined by a very special guest, Miss Kayla Shockley, the Luke Combs superfan. Kayla, thank you so much for coming on tonight. How you doing?
What's up? I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Doing
That's
good.
right.
Yeah, so this week we are going to be covering the debut album by Mr. Luke Combs himself, the hottest thing in country music. So definitely excited to get into this. But first, I think it's only fitting that we start with our News Out of Nashville segment, and then we'll get into the debut album. Each of us will give our ranking of the 12 songs and wrap this one up for this week. So what do you guys say? Get into it?
Sounds good, man.
Let's go.
All right, perfect. So, news this week, we've got some new music dropping. Drew Parker announced his EP. It's coming out October 21st. Lee Brice just dropped a new single, Memory I Don't Mess With. Sturgill Simpson's got a new album out, got a real nice bluegrass vibe to it. And then Jason Aldean actually just announced that he is working on his 10th studio album.
That's crazy that he's working on his 10th studio album, Joey. That is... I can't believe he's been around that long.
Oh, it just seems like yesterday that his first two albums dropped.
Absolutely. And what about Garth? Didn't he finally announce today that his long-awaited album Fun is going to be released this fall?
Finally, yes, he's been working on that thing for a few years now, at least.
Yeah,
So,
you never know with Garth. No matter what, it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited for it.
Chris Gaines with a surprise appearance.
You never know. He's been in hiding for 20 years.
Yeah, that's Garth's new album's dropping November 2nd. So if you have Amazon Music, you'll be able to stream that one. But what's been going on with the radio charts this week, Chris?
Well, last week, Lee Brice, one of them girls, was number one, and this week it'll go official tomorrow. But Aldean's Got What I Got is going to be the number one song in America. I think it's his 24th number one, which is pretty crazy. And actually, for the second week in a row, a Christmas album is the number one album in America. It's Dolly Parton's new one, Holly Dolly Christmas. So people are definitely ready for some Christmas music, even though it's not quite Halloween yet.
Yeah, that is crazy because Carrie Underwood was the number one album last week.
Yep.
With her Christmas album. So
yep.
People are skipping spooky season and they're ready for some holiday bliss with how 2020 has been going.
Yeah, we need some Halloween country music. I don't know what that would look like, but we need something to jam out to every year at Halloween.
Yeah, I as you know, our listeners may not know, I'm a huge fanboy of Jason Aldean, so I'm stoked for album number 10. I don't care what he puts out. I always listen to it, always love it. So... But anyways,
you're very loyal, Joey.
Absolutely, man. Aldean, I remember, if you guys can think back to MySpace, I had Amarillo Sky as my profile song for God only knows how long.
That's funny.
But yeah, I love Aldean. But anyways, Kayla, so again, thank you so much for coming on. You are the Luke Combs superfan. We appreciate all that you do and keep everybody up to date with. So why don't you tell a little bit about how you found Luke, and just some of your experiences with some of the shows you've been to.
Okay, well, thanks for letting me join this. This is really fun. This is a new experience that I've gotten to do. So thanks you guys for letting me join on here. But
yeah.
So I first discovered Luke on Vine, which I'm sure everybody else has too. But so he was on Vine and then he went off Vine when Vine left. And then I kind of just, like, he vanished for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he went on Instagram, and I saw him on Instagram. And then what made me actually follow him again was that YouTube video on Kurt's balcony of him singing Hurricane.
Classic.
Yeah.
So that's when I really, like, followed him again and, like, went, like, full fan again. So,
Yeah.
And then in 2017, maybe in the fall or summertime, I went to a local fair here, and it was free, like, completely free to get in to the show. All you had to do was buy, like, a fair ticket. So I did that, and it was so packed. They were, like, turning people away. Like, we were, like, at max capacity. So we sold the place out, and then so I went to that, and I was, like, hooked because I was like, oh my gosh, I love him so much. And so after that, I just kind of, like, stuck with, came back to the West Virginia State Fair, and that's where I saw him and was, like, even more obsessed. So yeah, that's kind of what led to my fan times, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, you've been to so many shows, right? Do you know how many shows you've been to at this point?
Oh Lord. Well, this year I've only been to 2 because of COVID. But last year, I think I ended the Nashville show, the last show of the Beer Never Break My Heart tour, on maybe 28 shows, I think. 26
Wow.
or 28, I can't remember.
I was gonna say it. Once you've hit that many, it's probably hard to keep track. That's awesome, though. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we've even had the
Yeah,
chance
it's
to meet
been a lot of
at a
fun.
couple shows, so that's been really cool, and just how connected Luke's fans are, and just like, it's just a big family, really. But yeah,
I mean, it's crazy because so many people have met at Luke shows like that. I mean, that's where you and I met. That's why we're doing this podcast today, is because of Luke. You know, the
Yeah.
community that has been built around Luke is pretty incredible. I mean, he's obviously got one of the largest Facebook groups, and with what Kayla does, I mean, it's incredible how many people follow Luke.
Oh, dude, absolutely. His following is the masses, and I think it's a testament of him as an artist, and his music, how it just reaches so many different people from different backgrounds and upbringings. I mean, I've got friends who are like exclusively hip hop and rap music fans that love Luke Combs. It's just insane. But yeah, speaking of like what Kayla does, Kayla, do you want to talk a little bit about your social media pages that you've got made up for Luke and everything? And kind of how that started.
Sure. So as I said before, I went to the fair in West Virginia. It was like in some little old county that we have here, that we have a fair each year. And so after that fair in 2017, I think, I created the Twitter account. And so the Twitter account kind of blew up, like almost like it was overnight, but not really, like in a week. I had like
Wow.
a lot of followers, and so like I didn't know what to do. And so I would get DMs being like, oh my God, like post the original stuff, like post the vines, because it was like still new back then. And so I would post like old videos of Luke, and it would get like hundreds and hundreds of like favorites and retweets and stuff. And so I was like, oh my God. And so I created the Instagram account, and it just like that, just like the Instagram account just like baffles me, because it's become such like a huge part of like everything that I've ever done is because of that Instagram account. And like and so basically that's just how it all started, and that's how I've gotten to go to so many shows. It's not like, it's just been a fun experience, and it's really fun that I've gotten to kind of know Luke and the people that like work for him and stuff, because they're really good people, and I'm just glad to support somebody who supports his fans as well, because like he's always been supportive of my accounts too, so I appreciate that a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and speaking of your accounts, I mean, everybody listening needs to go follow Kayla's accounts. It's at Luke Combs Updates. You can find her on Instagram and Twitter. I mean, you're sitting at 33,000 followers right now on Instagram. I'm on your Instagram. That is just absolutely phenomenal for any sort of fan page. And, you have gotten like some awesome opportunities because I saw that Luke hopped in on your live stream that you were doing for that voting party not too long ago. And that was just so cool. And he is so supportive of that. And, it kind of goes back to why people love him so much and are huge fans because he's just so interactive with his fans. And, you can just tell he truly appreciates where he's at and the process that it took to get there.
Yeah, so like just a sad story or whatever. We were having like a CNT voting a party for his CNT nominations and like
Hmm.
you vote online, obviously it's fan voted, but like all of a sudden we see like a request from Luke and he's like, "Hello?" question mark and we're like, "Oh my God." And then he's like, "Are you going to let me in? Like let me in." And I was like, "Oh my God." And so we all like tried to remain cool on camera, but
Yeah.
like it was like after we like cut him off and like cut the whole live off, we were like in tears because it was like crazy because we didn't expect that at all.
No. Yeah, that's so cool. And I thought that was awesome when I saw that because I was kind of watching in and out that night. And I was like, that is so freaking sweet. And I mean, you guys had some awesome guests on Jameson, right? Drew Parker popped in at the end late. So that was cool. But yeah. So what do you guys say? You want to get into some of the fun facts or statistics behind the debut album? This one's for you. Chris, I think you've got some pretty good information queued up. Why don't you take
Oh,
it away?
let's see here, Joey. So this one's for you. The debut album for Luke obviously was preceded by the debut single Hurricane, which I mean we'll probably go into Hurricane more at a later date. But Luke kind of released it I think mid 2015 independently, and that kind of it's what got him signed to Columbia Nashville.
Which
And
that the first week that he dropped that, it sold what 14,000 units, right?
yeah, independently, right?
Yeah, independently, which is what helped him fund the rest of the EP because I've heard him on record say before that he only had enough money to cut that one song because he had miscalculated, how much it was going to take to do the EP and he had $200 to drop one song and it was the one that just kicked this whole thing off.
Yeah, he obviously picked the right one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that got him signed to Columbia Nashville, and then the date I think Hurricane went number one May 27th of 2017, and then the debut album was released on June 2nd of that year. Is that right, Joey?
Yep, that's right. June 2nd.
Yep.
And I mean this record has done astronomical numbers chart wise. I mean, the singles have flown to number one. The album spent 50 weeks at number one, which tied Shania Twain for most weeks at number one, which broke the male artist record. I mean, this was a
Yeah,
smash.
I still have I screenshotted a tweet from Randy Travis when Luke broke because Randy's debut album was at 46 weeks at number one, and Randy Travis tweeted that it was awesome to have a real country artist break his record, and I just thought, man, that's how cool can you get that something like that would happen would happen, man. It's awesome. And Luke would have broke the record, but his new album supplanted him at number one, or he would have broke Shania's record.
Yeah, he knocked himself out of breaking the record. How crazy is that?
It's crazy, man.
But yeah, what do you got on the singles that went to radio?
Yeah, I mean, the album itself is triple platinum, getting ready to go quadruple platinum probably in a couple months. Hurricane is 4 times platinum. Rains, When It Rains, is 4 times platinum. One Number Away is 2 times platinum, getting ready to go 3 times platinum. Hurricane was number one at radio for 2 weeks. Rains was number one for multiple weeks. I mean, it was just for a debut album. Probably in the last 10 or 15 years, it's by far the biggest one we've seen.
Oh yeah, and it's still sustaining to this day. Like it's still like crazy popular. People still love it. I mean, I personally still listen to it. Even with the new
Oh yeah.
album and the deluxes that have dropped. Well, the other deluxe drops here in a few days, which we talked about last week. But yeah, what do you think about the debut album, Kayla?
I mean, it's the I think it will always be my favorite album just because that's the songs that we kind of grew up with Luke with.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
it's hard. It's really, really, really hard to pick a favorite from that album just because, like during shows and stuff, like that's the songs that the crowd like is like most interactive with.
Hmm.
So it's like that album is like so hard to top just because the songs already mean so much to us.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And, speaking of favorite songs, you guys want to go ahead and roll into the album ranking and what we thought of each, rank them 12 to 1, lowest to highest?
It's gonna be hard, man. This is really hard.
I mean, there's
Really,
not a
really
bad song on the. Let's preface with saying there's not one bad song on this record.
No,
Yeah,
not at all. Not,
so
not,
just
not
because
a single bad song.
in my
So we're not doing the deluxe. We're just doing like the original.
yeah,
first
just
album.
the original. We're just kicking it OG tonight, and then maybe we'll give a shout out to our favorite song from the deluxe or something like that.
Okay, cool.
But so just 12 to 1. We're gonna start the lowest ranking to the highest. I can kick it off. I've got Honky Tonk Highway at number 12. What do you guys? What do you got, Chris?
I've got Out There at number 12.
Out there, Kayla.
I have Don't Tempt Me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay. What do you got at 11, Joey?
Out There is
11.
number 12.
That see, Out There was great because that was
I love
what
it.
kicked
I love
off.
it. It's 4 stars. I love it. But something's got to
That
be
was
at
the
the
intro. That was the intro.
Yeah. So hey, something's got to be at number 12. You're right.
That's right.
And we
we're
preface
talking about
that-
perfection here.
Yeah, we don't dislike one song off this album. I think I
Yeah,
can speak
no,
for
this-
all of us when I say that.
yeah.
But so number 11 though, I've got Beer Can.
No way.
Yep,
Oh,
Beer
man.
Can.
I'm with Kayla on number 11. I've got Don't Tempt Me at number 11.
Number 11. What do you got, Kayla, at number 11?
Beer Can.
Beer Can. See? Yep. Great
Yeah.
minds think alike.
That's right. Okay, Joey. Number 10.
10, I'm bringing it in with Don't Tempt Me.
We've got some consensus on that one.
Yeah, we do. Kayla, what do you got at number 10?
I've got Memories Are Made Of at number 10.
Memories Are Made Of. What
Yeah.
do you got, Kayla?
I have Honky Tonk Highway.
Honky Tonk Highway at number 10. All right.
Memories Are Made of number 10?
I mean,
I'm logging off. I'm getting off here.
We're canceled.
yeah, we're canceled. It's,
Episode 3, Bro Country
Yeah.
Podcast is canceled. You heard it here first.
yeah. I mean,
Jeez.
that's funny. This is what's bad about ranking a perfect album is that you got to put something at the bottom.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, what do you got at number 9, Joey?
Number 9, I have got Don't Hate Me. Be careful what you wish for.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
What
and
about you, Chris?
I know Kayla's gonna hate me here because at number 9 I have One Number Away.
Ooh, brutal. Brutal. Kayla, what do you got sitting at number 9?
You say one number away.
Yes, no, One Number Away. What do you got at number 9?
Okay.
You've got One Number Away at number 9?
Like muting. I'm like freezing.
Yeah, it's cutting out a little
I
bit.
have I Got Away with You.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
All right. Number 8, I have got When It Rains, It Pours.
Same.
Same. Nice. What about you, Chris?
I got Beer Can.
Beer Can, number 8.
Yep. Beer Can at number 8.
Yeah. We'll move on to number 7. I have got This One's For You at number 7.
Me too.
Dang, our lists are almost the same, Kayla.
They
I know.
Cheat codes. What do you got, Chris?
Well, this is where I've got Honky
This
Tonk
is where
Highway
it gets
at number
hard.
7. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got Highway at number 7, and it's maybe my favorite live track from the album. But I think it's just because the live version is so much better than the studio version.
Yeah.
Because I love the song. I love the song, and it reminds me of Brooks and Dunn '90s. Everything I grew up on, and it's such an awesome live song.
For sure. Number 6, I've got Memories Are Made Of.
I would have predicted you love that one, Joe. You're a memories kind of guy.
I'm a sentimental kind of
That's
guy.
right.
Okay,
That's
okay. What do you got at number 6, Kayla?
Okay, so let me just say these top 6 are my number 1, but I just had to make it number 6. So this is how it goes. But my number 6, starting here, like I love all these songs. Like these are no skips at all.
Right.
So my number 6 is "Be Careful What You Wish For."
Good song.
Okay. I think Joey, I've probably got your favorite song at number 6.
I already know what it is too. Go ahead and say it.
I've got "Lonely One" at number 6.
Oh, you gotta put it somewhere, right?
I know. I love it, but
That is.
he doesn't perform it live very often.
I've only heard it live one time out of the 10 or 11 shows I've been to. One time, and it was at a small bar and grill in Oxford, Ohio.
Oh, that's cool.
That was it. I've heard Drew Parker cover it more than Luke Combs sing it.
Yeah.
It's a hidden gem.
Yeah.
It is. It's a deep cut that is just so good. And I mean, Drew co-wrote it with Luke, so no disrespect to Drew at all. Drew sings it really good too. And you know, it's a wonderful song, but we'll get into that. We're rounding out the top 5 now, huh?
Here we go. What you got, Joey? Number 5.
This is where it gets rough. I've got "Out There" at number 5.
Man.
What do you got at number 5, Chris?
Oh my
Well, I've got this one. This one's for you at number 5.
That's a wonderful song. Kayla, where are you at for number 5?
I have "Lonely One."
Okay, made the top 5. That's awesome.
Great song.
Love that song. Very underrated. Very, very underrated. Number 4, I have got "One Number Away." What about you, Chris?
Oh my gosh.
I've got. I'm sitting here looking at the list, trying to see if I want to make a change or not. No, number 4. I'm gonna put "Hurricane."
Okay, fair enough. Kayla,
I mean, it's obviously a perfect song.
Yeah, she's shooketh right now. I knew it.
She shook.
Yeah, I knew Kayla would hate that one. That ranking.
Gosh. My number 4 is "Memories."
Great song.
Great song.
As Chris mentioned, I'm a sentimental guy. I like nostalgia and memories. But anyway, number 3. This is the top 3.
Top 3.
Here we go.
And this was like really hard for me, but I Got Away with You at number 3. Chris,
Great.
What do you have?
I've got "Be Careful What You Wish For" at number 3.
Nice. Kayla, number 3.
I have "One Number Away."
Love it.
You've always you love that one. You've always loved that one.
For sure. All right, number 2. Chris, this might come as a shocker to you. I've got "Lonely One" at number 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I'm
"Lonely One."
surprised. It's always been your favorite Luke song whenever we've talked. Always.
Yeah, it is one of my favorites for sure. But I've got "Lonely One." Chris, where are you at for number 2?
Well, I mean, I just had a thought here. When I look at the list, I mean, I think we rank these songs based on not how good they are, or I mean, they're all perfect songs, but just what they mean to us and what they mean to Luke's career.
Yeah, yeah,
and so
absolutely. These are just opinion based. I'm not a music critic. I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. These are all great, well written, well performed songs, and we prefaced with that. We don't hate on Luke at all. He could sing the alphabet, and we're gonna buy it and listen to it. So
absolutely. But yeah, at number 2, I've got "When It Rains It Pours," and
Nice.
I mean, it's it's an amazing live song. He kicks the show off with it sometimes, but really, we wouldn't be sitting here today talking if it wasn't for "When It Rains It Pours." I mean,
that was
there's
a
all
game
kinds of
changer.
people. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of people that have one song. I mean, "Hurricane" was amazing, huge smash. That happens. And then people disappear.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
very
yeah.
few people can follow that with something as big and as amazing as "Rains." And so that song to me will always be the song that made Luke a superstar. It took him to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and it's crazy because you've heard him. I'm sure you guys have both heard this. That he started out wanting to write that as a sad song, like it was supposed to be like a sad breakup-y type of song. But then they had some fun with the play on the words, and it just is a jam. And yeah, it's a great song. And I think you hit the nail on the head when so many people drop their debut single, and it's a one-hit wonder, but When It Rains It Pours just kind of helped propel Luke to where he's at.
Absolutely.
So Kayla, what do you got at number 2?
I have Out There.
Nice. I love that song live. I do.
Out There is everything.
I know.
It's a good one.
So you're regretting my list.
So this is it. This is to finish off the debut album at what you have at number 1. And if those of you listening to this episode know the album back and forth like we do, you probably already know what our number 1 songs are, respectively. But I had to go with the debut single that kicked this whole thing off, Hurricane, at my number 1. And that is one of my favorite live songs because the whole crowd, it doesn't matter if you were at one of the bars when he first started doing this thing, or if you're in the arenas and the stadiums now. Well, not in 2020 because screw coronavirus, but up until early this year, the whole freaking crowd gets into that song, and the part where he kind of just lets the crowd sing it back is just one of the coolest live music experiences I've ever had. So had to round it out with Hurricane at number 1. Where are you at with number 1, Chris?
Well, my second favorite Luke song is probably just because it's mine and Lindsay's song. So and it's my favorite love song that Luke has, and that's I Got Away With You. I think it's one of the most traditional songs that Luke has done up to this point. And I mean, I love Better Together. I love Beautiful Crazy. I love all of them. But if I had to pick one love song from Luke, it would be I Got Away With You. It's just, like I said, it's just our song, so it's always going to be my favorite.
Yeah, I love that song. It made my top 3, so and for similar reasons. But Kayla, what do you got at number 1?
I had to go with Hurricane. Boom. I don't know how you could pick anything but Hurricane for number 1.
I knew it. I knew that was going to be your number 1. We were pretty close with our
you guys were
rankings. Yeah. We were like neck and neck.
Yeah, we were like the same.
We've got similar Luke taste, I guess.
That's awesome.
Well, that does it for our album ranking. Don't come at us crazy for putting your favorite song at number 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, or 5. Because we love all of these songs, as we've said multiple times, and Luke is a freaking rock star.
It's a 5-star album. It's probably the best album that's came out.
Yes,
as long as we can remember.
Speaking of 5 stars, I think across the board here, I can say that we would give this a 5 out of 5 out of the stars. So
yeah, it's a perfect country album.
Yeah, it's so good. And kind of going back to what we were talking about a little bit ago with the deluxe album, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our favorite song off of the deluxe, which released a year later, 5 new tracks. My favorite off the deluxe, if it counts, because it was remastered, redone, whatever you want to call it. She Got the Best of Me. That was my favorite off the first deluxe album.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, it's my favorite Luke song, so I would go with that.
I was not expecting us all 3 to agree on that. That's awesome.
But I will say that Must Have Never Met You is my favorite live song.
Oh yeah. The energy on that.
The only
awesome.
song I don't like of Luke's is Beautiful Crazy. Like, that's the one song that it's always a skip for me.
Yes. I have never really talked to anybody other than my wife and maybe a couple others that feel that way. Like, so many people love that song and play it so much, and it's not a bad song. It's just one that I skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, whenever I did that FaceTime call with Luke for his bootlegger radio, he said, "So what's your favorite song?" And I said, "Reasons" or All Over Again. And then he said, "So what is your least favorite song?" And I was like, well, I don't really have one, but if I had to pick, I would pick Beautiful Crazy. And he was like stunned. He was like, "What?" I said, "Don't tell Nicole."
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really hard to say that he has a bad song because I don't think he does, but that would probably be...
I just don't relate to it. Like, I don't relate to what he says in that song, I guess.
Yeah, no, and that's totally a fair statement because I kind of feel the same way. And
and it's definitely probably the most overplayed too. So
yeah, that didn't help.
Oh yeah.
And it was like the wedding song to have for like the last 2 years now.
Yeah.
Which is cool if that's your thing. Then there's no disrespect there, but
and if your least favorite song is 5 times platinum and 7-week #1 radio hit, then that's pretty good.
yeah. So it's a dang good song. It performed really well on the charts, and people loved it and gravitated to it. But yeah, I mean, you got anything else, Chris? You want to throw any more stats at us about the album?
No more
anything?
stats, but I do want to say on the record that I think that Kayla's first show and my first show were the same show.
What?
And
You West
Kayla,
Virginians.
Kayla and I Kayla and I have talked online about Luke, but we haven't met yet. We're still like we gotta meet up at one of the shows.
I've met Joey.
But
yeah, we've met a few times, like 2 or 3 times, I think, Kayla, right?
Yeah, but
Couple
it was the Putnam County
Yeah.
Fair show, and there was like 12,000 people there, and it was
Yeah.
to think that, I mean, it was, Hurricane had just hit #1, but other than the album had just came out, most people probably wouldn't even have known the songs, but it was a crazy night, and I should have been able to sit up front, but we sat in the very, very back because it was so packed in there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so funny story. I got so I was there pretty late because of the whole traffic thing. Like it's just a really small town, and so traffic was insane, especially because of Luke Combs. But so I ended up getting maybe 6 or 7 rows back from the front of the stage or whatever.
Yep.
And then towards the end, everybody knows that Luke does an encore. It comes back out and he sings. He sings an older song that nobody really would know unless you're from the Vine days. But and everybody was leaving, and so we were y'all know he's not done yet. So we managed to get to the very front, I could touch the stage.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I was and people started racing back to the stage, and I was like, y'all done lost your spots.
Right.
I would have been one of the ones in the parking lot listening to Hurricane because the traffic was so bad. I was getting out of there.
Oh, that's funny. My first show
awesome.
of Luke's was actually when he opened up for Brantley Gilbert back in 2017, right? It was 2017.
Yeah, I didn't see that tour at all.
Yeah, he opened up for Brantley. There was it was funny because it was at Riverbend in Cincinnati, Ohio. So you guys have both been there, so you know how the lawn is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. And when there's an opening act, there's the lawn is pretty open, right? But it was crazy because the lawn wasn't packed when Luke was there as the opener, but it was much more full than it typically is for an opening act. And that's when I knew, I'm like, this dude is gonna be something, because people are coming out to see him as an opening act already. This is crazy. And I saw him a couple months later at that small bar in Oxford that I told you guys about earlier, Brick Street Bar and Grill. It's at Miami University, and that was really cool because we were right on the stage, and it's a tiny dance floor, and we're crammed in, and he I thought I was so cool because he toasted my beer. And my wife got a picture of it, so that was super cool, and you can't even really tell it's me, but I thought that was really cool.
But you know it was you. That's
yeah,
all that
hell
matters.
yeah, I know it was me, man.
Yeah.
Toasted Luke's beer, and now I see people get his Jack and Diet poured in their cups at shows, and I'm like, I can't even get pit tickets anymore because the
Kayla,
freaking...
what was your
For
second
real.
show?
So I can't remember if my first actual show was that little fair or if it was his Don't Tip Me With a Good Time tour.
Yeah.
I don't know which one came first, but I went to a show in Ohio.
OH?
I don't even remember where, but it was just
Yeah.
3 hours away, and so I was like, okay, I'm going. But then after that, it was just a done deal. I basically followed him around the country.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
this year has sucked. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
We would have seen so many shows this year.
I'm just so glad the last big show I saw was Luke back on Valentine's Day, which I've talked about that on the show before, but it was such a good experience with Ashley McBride and Drew Parker as the opening acts. But yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh.
I haven't even really got to see Drew's set yet because he goes on the first opener, and so if you have stuff to do before the show, a meet and greet or a tailgate or something like that, you miss the opener. So I'm hoping that Drew Parker, he's obviously coming back for the tour whenever it resumes, but
yeah.
I'm hoping that I just want to become a bigger fan of Drew's and support him a lot more.
Yeah, he's awesome. We actually saw Drew, my wife and I, Kayla. I know Chris knows this, but we saw him at the Hobart Arena show back in like February of 18 in Ohio. He opened for Luke back then, and it was just him and his guitar. That was it. Drew had no band with him or anything, and I cannot remember the song that he covered, but it was something that just got the whole. And there was only maybe like 2,500 people there. It was like a small arena, maybe 3,000 tops, and he just got the whole crowd
Wow.
like riled up. Drew did, and I'm like, this guy's pretty good. So Candace, my wife, she fell in love with Drew. She's a huge fan. She's got like the OG merch from like back then and everything, and
Yes, I want some merch of Drew's so bad.
yeah, it's slick. And we actually saw him at Brick Street Bar and Grill in Oxford last year. It just popped up on my memories on social media the other day. So it was like October of last year, and we talked to him out on the patio before the show, and met up with him after. But it was so loud in there because like once the show was over, they started playing like loud DJ music and stuff. But he signed our set list, and his drummer gave us a stick and everything, so it was really cool. Good dude. Drew's a good dude. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. I love Drew.
yeah, he's so cool. But I have not got to meet Luke yet. I'm still holding out to win one of those meet and greets.
You haven't met him yet? I thought you
No.
always have.
So
We haven't met him yet.
I was in
Oh,
line.
neither of you have?
Nope.
No, I was in line at the Hobart Arena show, like that I just mentioned, and we got there like I don't even know 6 hours early, and we were like the third or fourth people in line. It was when you had to buy the meet and greets; they were like $40 or so. You had to buy like one of those. My memory's failing me right now. It was like a cup that you had to buy that came with like 2 meet and greets or something for $40.
An Orca?
Yeah, Orca, there it is. And it was like $40 and, whatever. And I don't know why, but they actually canceled the meet and greets while we were in line to like get ready to storm the arena and get to
That was the
merch table.
show. That was the show I went to. Yeah, they canceled the meet and greets because I was like
Yeah.
in line ready to like race and like get a meet and greet, but they were like, he sent out a tweet or something from
Yeah,
his Twitter
yeah.
and was like,
It was on
"The meet and
social
greet is
media."
canceled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how y'all gonna do this to us?
And we were gonna do the meet and greet at the Oxford show I went to because it was like $20 or so. It might have been 40. I think it was on like $20. It was super like dumb cheap, but we both had to get up for work like mega early the next day, and
Yeah, I think it's only like $20 a person.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's
And
probably
all
what
of
it
that
was.
money was donated. Like he's never made money to meet his fans, I don't think.
Yeah, that's so cool. And now he just does the raffle or what the lottery picks or whatever for like the fan club members, which is pretty cool because it gives people like a fair chance because like Chris mentioned earlier, his fan base is just monstrous now. But
That's right.
speaking of live shows, I think it's only fitting that we end this episode with our favorite song live. So
Lord.
yeah, you gotta pick one. I know it's on the spot and it wasn't in any preparation. So
Favorite Luke song or favorite from the album? Can it be any Luke song?
any Luke song. We can
Okay.
open the table up with this one. I already know my favorite one live, and it could change in an hour. So
Yeah.
I love Beer Never Broke My Heart. That is a freaking smash. It blows the roof off of arenas. Love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. I will go with Must Have Never Met You, just because it wasn't a radio single, and for the crowd to go as insane for that song that was not pushed to radio at all is, I remember, it's one of the only, it's probably the only song that wasn't a single that I've ever been to a show that he goes silent for about half the song and the crowd just sings the whole thing. It's just awesome. I love it.
For sure. What's your favorite live one, Kayla?
Oh, I don't know. Like I'm sitting here trying to think. Okay, so taking the singles out of it, like the well-known singles, like take those out of it. I think my favorite song that he sings live is probably either Must Have Never Met You, because people are just crazy on that song, or just because it's my personal favorite. I like when he sings All Over Again just because I love it. But I also love when he sings This One's For You acoustic by himself.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me throw out another favorite. I love when he sings "Without You" live.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a and it hadn't even been released yet, and that was just a totally. And Chris has talked about this before, but that was
Yeah.
just a totally amazing experience of a song that hadn't even been released yet had such love and like the fans were just into it, holding their phone lights up and singing all the words to a song that they've only heard live or like on social media.
Mm.
I'm like, that is just
He
crazy.
like released it, and then like a week later, there was like the weekend of shows that we went to,
Hmm.
and so we had to like learn the song in like 3 days. And so
Yeah.
we're like driving to like Pennsylvania, and we had to like learn this song, and we're like the only ones singing it in the arena, and so we're like, whatever. And so we were just like singing our hearts out, which I think that made a moment with us and
Hmm.
Luke because we were right there in front of his face. Like, he's probably like, shut up, like,
Right.
let me have my moment.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No,
yeah,
when we went to that show in February, because Chris went to that show in Kentucky that I went to back on Valentine's Day this year, and
yeah.
it was just like crazy, wasn't it, man? Like the whole
Yeah,
crowd was into it, and I'm like,
it was
this isn't
awesome.
Every
even.
single song, though, like every single song, people like it's never quiet. It's never a quiet moment.
No, it's
No,
never
no,
quiet.
not even
No.
for like songs like "Dear Today." Even like it's still people are singing along and into it.
And like I know that like Luke probably might not ever win like tour of the year just because he doesn't dance around the stage or he doesn't like walk out into the stage and like interact with fans that way. But the thing about it is that the thing that makes him him are the fans because
Hmm.
he has listened to us. He listens to what we want. He listens to what we
Hmm.
say, and he pays attention to like all the little details that we want in his songs and his tour and who he brings on tour and what he's on tour, like that kind of thing. And
Hmm.
like that's why people show up for him. That's why people pay the money to get the tickets. That's
Yeah.
why
I
people
agree.
are just
Yeah.
there or
Yeah.
involved. Like every single fan knows
Hmm.
every single song, and that's the reason why. It's because we're heard and we're listened to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we've all been to 10 to 15, 20 shows
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
Plus.
and we're just going to keep going for as
I
long as
mean,
we can.
collectively, we're probably at
Yeah.
like 40 or 50 shows between the three of
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
more.
I
Who
mean,
knows? But
I
yeah,
can't remember if you jumped into this or not, Joey, but I mean, what was it at the very beginning with Luke that got you into him at the very beginning?
yeah. It's crazy how I discovered Luke. It was probably like 2015, I want to say. I have a buddy who is an aspiring country musician, and he put a video on Facebook, and he was like, I'm gonna cover this song. It's called "Can I Get an Outlaw" by Luke Combs. It's a guy you've probably never heard of before, but you should go check him out. And I'm like, that song sounds pretty badass. I was like, so I'm gonna go look it up. So I went to YouTube and found it, and I'm like, holy crap! And I just got in the wormhole of like his older stuff, like the EPs and everything,
Yeah,
and was hooked ever since.
that's awesome, man.
Like it was just it was basically a recommendation from a buddy of mine from high school, and yeah. And then, getting deeper into the fandom, going to the live shows. Like, once I went to the first live show, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. I'm like, and I've been going to concerts, since I was a little kid, such as yourselves probably. And it's like, I've been to some great shows. Like, I've seen, Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, Eric Church, Garth Brooks, Tim McGraw, Reba. I've seen all these acts. And he's in my top three. It's very hard for me to pick top three, but I'm gonna go with Eric Church, Garth Brooks, and Luke Combs in no order as my top favorite live acts, and it's just why I keep going and getting the tickets when I can.
Yeah, absolutely. I just remember hearing. I
Emphasis
mean,
on when you can.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
you're right. Yeah,
kind of to backtrack with what Kayla said, Luke isn't like the most dance around the stage, kind of guy, and it's just he just draws the
He doesn't
crowd in
have to
so
be.
much. Yeah, he doesn't have to be,
yes,
and it's still one of the top acts I've ever seen live because his vocals are freaking amazing. Like and I think Nashville does a pretty good job with producing his voice on like when they put out the records and stuff. But like the raspiness to his live vocals is just so much better in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And they try to leave it like, I think they do a good job with it, but like there's just nothing like it's just different. It's just a different experience. But yeah. Absolutely. So that's kind of how I got into it, man. But yeah, I think that's all I've got for this episode. You guys got anything else you want to throw in?
I just want to. I know we gave Drew a big shout out, but I just want to shout out all the other. Obviously the band. I mean, the band is is another probably top 5 or 10 reason why Luke is so awesome. I mean, we could go through the whole band. We know them all. And then just the team that Luke has around him. Songwriters and James McNair, Ray Fulcher, Drew Parker, obviously. Rowdy
Chris
and Tyler.
Cappy.
That's right. Yeah, Cappy. It's
the man himself.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It takes everything that we've talked about here tonight to build what Luke has become, and he's just he's got an amazing team around him.
Oh yeah, and they all care about each other too. You can just
and he's kept
that.
He's kept them. He's been big now for 3.5 years, and he's kept the same people.
Yeah, and it's only grown.
Him,
it's only grown with the new band members and stuff. And he's kept the same guys that he kicked it off with. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see this thing blow up,
Absolutely.
And be here kind of from the beginning of the big fame anyway, But yeah, Kayla, do you got any other thoughts that you'd like to add to the episode tonight?
No, not really. I think we've talked about everything, really.
Cool. Well, Kayla, thank you so much again for coming on.
Thanks, Kayla. We really appreciate it.
Truly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. This was relaxed, It's like not an uptight situation.
That's
right.
We
try to keep it cool and relaxed. We'll probably have you on again someday. I'm sure there'll be more Luke content that we'll need your expertise on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And all you guys listening, until next time, keep it country and take care of each other.